person who left after he filmed this incredible lady's speech. He didn't want to hear anything else after that. He didn't want to hear any of the people here who are talking to you about what is going to happen to your future, to your children, to everybody here in Alberta, Canada, and the world. Thank you all for coming here today. My name is Dickson. My husband is David Dickson. I have a background in education. My husband is an ex-British police officer who has extensive experience in technology. My husband is an ex-British police officer. I wish it wasn't so windy. Who has extensive experience in technology, privacy, security, compliance, and the law. We have been heavily involved in research on this virus for the last 6 months, since news first broke from China. Our peer-reviewed research is on ResearchGate and has been published outside of that. Our connections are global. We are talking with Dolores Cahill, the world-renowned molecular biologist and immunologist from Ireland, who spoke today in London, UK, in front of tens of thousands of people. We are connected to Yoran Lass from Israel, a physician, politician, and former Director General of the Health Ministry for Israel. Here in Alberta, we are talking to doctors, nurses, paramedics, and politicians. Yes, some politicians who are deeply concerned about the direction or misdirection and misinformation being circulated to Canadians about this virus. So many are questioning the government narrative. So many are afraid to come forward. They have been threatened if they speak out. We are here to speak for them until they can take the lead for us here in Canada, the way professionals in every field of healthcare around the world are doing, have done today, in front of crowds of millions, in London, England, in Berlin, Germany, in Madrid, Spain, and countries across the world. There is a growing understanding that fear, not this virus, is our real enemy. Albertans, Canadians, I entreat you. We are running out of time. We're running out of time to address a crime against humanity. David and I are parents of 2 daughters. We have 2 grandchildren. Their great-grandmother is currently in a care home, a victim who has just endured the 3rd lockdown of what should be her home. For a few cases of staff voluntarily testing asymptomatic positive. What should be her home has become her prison. Residents now spend hours in their rooms in isolation, despite them being cohorts on separate tables, and access from family and medical professionals and medical care, which is deemed legally essential for their well-being, is being denied. No residents, despite 6+ rounds of invasive testing, have tested positive for the virus in this centre alone.
They're hoping.
Yet many are fading from lack of care and family support, despite the best efforts of frontline staff. PPE requirements change for visitors when they're allowed in, which I hasten to add is not often, and for staff on a whim. There is no supportable science for the madness of these measures in place. Care homes had tried and tested protocols in place before this outbreak. willing to do their job under masks, goggles, plastic shields and gowns. To do their job. Residents are dying, and not from the virus. We have contacted health officials, politicians, and the media to the sound of deafening silence. All of this is the result of useless asymptomatic testing, which fulfills one purpose: the agenda to lock down and incapacitate society as we know it. If you are not sick, why on earth would you submit to being tested? Whether you have symptoms or test positive from these inaccurate tests, you will not receive any treatment if you are deemed to have COVID, even when you don't. AHS, along with all of the health authorities, have openly admitted, it is on their website, that asymptomatic positive testing means nothing, as COVID doesn't seem to have any unique symptoms. Even symptomatic testing is of no value. The reality is, testing will result in, at best, the lockdown of you, your family, your friends, your businesses, your school, our care centres, your entire life. At worst, you will be isolated for 2 weeks or more to either recover, get worse, or die of an untreated, non-COVID condition. And yes, it's already happened over and over again here in Alberta and across the world. Lockdown kills. Testing kills. The most vulnerable, our elderly, need protection using tried and tested protocols which were already in place pre-COVID. Our government needs to make treatment, tried and tested for 70 years, freely available to seniors, to all of us, to protect us from this virus. The treatment works with incredible efficacy if used in the early stages of COVID-19, shedding all trace of the virus in 6 days. That treatment, as Josh pointed out, is hydroxychloroquine, used with the antibiotic azithromycin and zinc. That we know of, 4 million doses of this medication were freely donated to and are stockpiled in Canada as I speak. Over 250 million doses were donated worldwide. Why are our elderly dying at home, in hospital beds, in care homes like Good Samaritan on the south side without treatment? This is a crime! Absolutely. It is a crime that's being masked under the excuse of COVID. And the evidence, once a person dies in a care home, no matter the cause, they are bundled up before their family can see them and removed with all their belongings. Their room is sanitized, along with all the memories of them. Our loved ones are being treated like toxic waste, not the precious individuals they were. This is not care or compassion. It is the behavior of criminals covering up a crime.
Absolutely.
Please, I beg you, look at the radical changes that have been made to our society, from plexiglass to extreme modifications to your workplaces. Laws have been enacted beyond anything that would have been required for something which we were told would need a few weeks in lockdown to flatten the curve. It's time to realise that masks and social distancing will be in place in perpetuity. They are not for your protection. There is no supportable science for their application on mass populations. Masks and social distancing are designed to separate, alienate, and kill our ability to communicate. If discourse is dead, then we are unable to find the truth. This is a means to divide and conquer. We are being reshaped, reorganized, and most frighteningly of all, repurposed. Anyone who thinks otherwise. I'm sorry if I struggle through this. This is my passion. My heart breaks for every child going back to school in this uncertainty. What should be home from home, security and their sanctuary, will be, just like the care home is for my mum, their prison. Honestly, I just want to hug them all. Teachers, I speak to you all. I'm one of you. Your job, your vocation, your absolute mandate beyond this madness is to provide children with a place where they can thrive, feel truly alive in body and mind, be with their friends, be free to learn. Truly the greatest gift we can all give to our children. I am absolutely petrified. Not of a virus that poses no threat to our children, but for teachers who, like the care staff in care homes, will be so stifled by unworkable regimes that they will be unable to help those who need them now more than ever. I'm watching this exact thing play out in my mother's care home. I'm hearing from families who are literally helpless, knowing their loved ones are fading away in isolation. Our children and our elderly are the most vulnerable and at risk in the face of an ever-changing, unmanageable, unworkable, and in fact, unlivable regime, and the scientifically unsound measures imposed upon them. They need our protection. They need your help. You, as parents, must advocate for them at the highest level, by all means possible, to secure their well-being, in fact, their very future survival. Please watch over your family. Do not send them anywhere, be it a school or hospital, where access is forbidden to you as an advocate. We are living in terrifying times, but it is within us all to turn the tide on this tsunami of insanity. The choice, the people's choice, is yours. There is hope. Dolores Cahill in Ireland is telling her entire country that there is hope. There is the power within you to make change. Eat well, exercise, enjoy quality time with your family and friends. Positivity is power for the mind and body. If you choose, or I know in many cases parents feel they have no choice, to send their child to school, make sure you have a backup plan. There will be endless cycles of lockdown from asymptomatic testing. Flu season is upon us. Think seriously how that is going to play out. Every symptom will be deemed COVID. Wash your hands regularly. Practice basic, tried and tested, good hygiene. Masks and social distancing are damaging physically and psychologically, especially to children. Again, remember, none of these measures have ever been accurately studied on the public at large. Look up the research from our own occupational health and safety expert, Chris Schaefer, here in Alberta. He wrote extensively on this and sent it to the Albertan government and City of Edmonton. It was ignored. Open your mind to reason, balanced, well-researched discussion. It's hard to find, but it's all there in plain sight if you look hard enough. Look up Dolores Cahill from Ireland, America's frontline doctors, and our own Rocco Galati. We need Rocco right here, right now. And our own Rocco Galati, our high-profile Canadian lawyer who is heading the legal challenge to the Superior Court of Canada against the Canadian government's overreaction to this virus. I beg you, question everything. Be a critical thinker. Remember, you are not alone. Millions of people the world over are starting what will be a deafening crescendo against oppression and tyranny, like we have never seen before in the history of humanity. You need to be a voice for freedom and change. Do not live in fear. Fear works in two ways. At a basic level, it induces a fight or flight response. Do not let it paralyze you. It must drive you to action. Every little act, be it a smile, a hug, a positive comment on social media, joining a group who are advocating for change, talking to people you meet in the grocery store, questioning workplace practices, writing to our elected officials, supporting our police force. We need them right now. Everything, no matter how small, makes a difference. I will end with a story of a man I met outside IGA in Devon, our hometown, at the end of March this year, before our beautiful world stopped turning. He was banging his head in his hands and shouting, "I don't know what's going on in my head, but I know in my heart this is wrong." I hugged him. I think that's against the law, okay?
Only in their mind, not ours.
He was a complete stranger. I told him he could take comfort in the knowledge that he was right. And knowledge is power. You all know in your heart that this is wrong. You only have to look around to know in your head that this is wrong. Remember, united we stand, divided we fall. 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 Jason, Penny, I hope you can hear us out here today. Even if he's in his own home. I think we're loud enough to make a difference.
You're not a people kind, you won't listen.
It's about time we all understood the real meaning of we're all in this together. It's high time to right the crime. 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 It's high time to right the crime.